Welcome, everyone. Before we jump in, this podcast is brought to you by The Senior Techie, a source of information for seniors and others about technology. So today on the Senior Techie podcast, we're taking a look at a universal frustration, which is internet security.
Oh, don't even get me started on that.
Right. I mean, we're looking at why the current password system is just uniquely broken for adults over 55. Imagine having a different key for every room in your house, but the locksmith forces you to change all the locks every 3 months.
It's just absurd. We've built this entire security infrastructure that, well, it essentially sets humans up to fail.
Oh, absolutely.
Like every site demands something completely different. One portal wants a capital letter, another demands a special symbol.
And then the next one rejects the exact symbol you just used.
Right, and then comes the forced password change every 90 days.
It's infuriating for anyone.
Right.
But how can anyone be expected to keep up with this without getting locked out of their own digital life? The Senior Techie says this is a unique barrier for older adults specifically. Why is that?
Well, it comes down to cognitive load, really, and the sheer volume of critical life portals you have to manage later in life. You're juggling online banking, Medicare portals, retirement accounts.
Healthcare providers, all of that.
Yeah, exactly. If every single one of those crucial lifelines demands a unique, complex, frequently rotating string of characters, it goes from being just a mild tech annoyance to a severe source of anxiety.
Which makes total sense.
And the Senior Techie leaves no room for doubt on this point. This relentless 90-day cycle of veering rules is specifically failing older adults. It actively discourages people from accessing essential services.
Okay, but isn't changing a password every 90 days just good hygiene? Like if someone steals it, the clock is ticking before it's useless to them.
That's what we used to think.
Right.
But it turns out those relentless reset cycles actually make you less secure.
Wait, hang on. How does updating my security make me less secure?
Because of human nature.
Yeah.
When you're forced to change a complex password constantly, you don't invent a brand new random string of characters every time.
No, I guess not.
Right. People take the path of least resistance. So if your password was, Florida Sunrise 1, your next one just becomes Florida Sunrise 2.
Ah, yeah, I plead the fifth on that one. I definitely do that. But surely hackers know we do that.
Precisely. They use automated algorithms that predict those exact iterative changes. So if they crack your first password, their software instantly guesses the variations.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the forced expiration date just gives you a false sense of security while you basically make the hacker's job easier.
Okay, so because this current system is failing, there has to be a better way that actually benefits older users, right?
Yeah.
What is the realistic way forward without driving everyone crazy?
So the Senior Techie points to one really realistic approach that actually helps seniors navigate this chaos. We need to move away from those burdensome 90-day reset cycles.
Okay, and move toward what?
The standard is shifting toward creating one very long, memorable passphrase for an account and leaving it alone permanently. Well, unless there is a documented security breach, of course.
Wait, leaving a password alone for years? That goes against, like, a decade of cybersecurity advice. How does relying on a single static phrase not make us sitting ducks?
I know it sounds wild, but it comes down to the math behind how brute force hacking works. Hackers don't sit there guessing passwords manually. They use supercomputers to fire millions of combinations a second.
Right.
And against those machines, length mathematically beats complexity.
So a long sentence is actually stronger than a short jumble of weird symbols.
Spot on. A short password, like, say, tacos with an @ symbol and an exclamation point, it has symbols and numbers. But because it's only 6 characters, a computer can crack it instantly by guessing every possible short combination.
Okay, but what about a passphrase?
Well, a passphrase like Blue Dog Sleeping on the Porch has no special characters, but it's 25 characters long. The math scales exponentially.
I see.
It would take a supercomputer centuries to guess all the combinations to reach that specific 25-letter sentence.
That is fascinating. So for you listening, think about how adopting a more realistic, simplified approach like this could reduce your daily tech stress. Instead of memorizing 9 cents, you just picture a blue dog on a porch.
Yeah, and you never have to change it unless the company gets hacked. It shifts your entire relationship with your devices. Security should be an invisible shield, not a daily pop quiz that locks you out of your healthcare portal.
Absolutely. So before we go, I want to leave you with a provocative thought to ponder. How much of your digital life is currently spent just trying to remember arbitrary rules rather than actually enjoying your technology?
That's a great question.
And if typing out long passphrases still sounds tedious, We are rapidly moving toward a passwordless future using biometrics, fingerprint readers, facial recognition.
Oh, right.
But as that becomes the norm, what happens to our privacy? Are we trading the annoyance of remembering passwords for the risk of handing over our physical, biological blueprints to tech companies just to log into our bank?
That is the next great frontier for our digital rights, for sure.
This podcast was brought to you by The Senior Techie. It's available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. If you'd like to receive their free newsletters, you can subscribe by going to subscribe.theseniortechie.com.